Okay. Where do Old Testament unbelievers and New Testament unbelievers go when they die? That is what we are going to look at today. Where does Old Testament unbelievers, when you look at unbelievers and then the believers, is not the same. At first, where believers were going when they died in the Old Testament, and now when they are and now this church era, where they go are not the same. But when you come to unbelievers, where they were going from the time of Adam till now, they are still going to that place, and they will continue to go there until after the millennium, whereby all of them will be wiped out and they'll be judged and thrown into the lake of fire. So where they were going since from Adam's time till now, they are still going the same place. So we are going to look at where were they going and where are they still going when they die. Good. Let us read this place. Luke chapter number 16 and then verses 19 through 31. But we may not finish the 31. We'll end at 25. Luke 16, 19 through 25. Okay, it says this way. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen and lived in luxury every day. At his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. In hell, where he was in torment, he looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. So he called out to him, Father Abraham, have pity on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire. Good. So you see that these two people, the rich man and Lazarus, they were on earth here together. But when they died, the rich man went somewhere and Lazarus also went somewhere. It doesn't mean that when you are rich, if you die, you are going there. But the rich man was an unbeliever. He didn't know who Christ is. He didn't give his life to God. But then, if you were a believer, that means you have to join Israel and be sacrificing to the God of Israel. So he didn't give his life. He didn't sacrifice to the God of Israel. He was sacrificed to his own gods, his money. His money was his God. So when they died, they went differently. In the Old Testament, we said when a believer died, before Jesus came, because we said John 14:6, it says that Jesus is the way, the life, and the truth. No one goes to the Father except through him. So no one had access to heaven except about 2,000 years ago when Jesus came and then made the way and led people to heaven. And now when a believer dies, he goes to heaven. I said now, when a believer dies now, you don't go to the Abraham bosom again where this Lazarus went. You don't go there again, but you are now going straight to heaven, because the way maker has come and have made the way. So everybody, as at now, as if you die and you're a believer, you are going straight to heaven. So you don't go to that paradise again. But when it comes to the unbelievers, both Old Testament and New Testament, from the time of Adam until the end of the age, I'm talking about the end of this world, where they were going, they continue to go there. And that is where it is called hell. It is called hell, as you saw the rich man. The Bible says what? The rich man went to hell, or the place of torment. It is the place for the wicked. If you remember, we said hell, we have what we call the Hades in Greek, and then the Hebrew is called the Sheol. The Hades is the Greek, and the Hades means place of the dead. And then the Hades is divided into two: place of comfort for the believers and place of torment for the wicked or the unbelievers. So the place of the torment is the same thing as what we call the Gehenna. The Greek is called the Gehenna, or the English word hell. So hell is a place where unbelievers are kept. Until now, they are still there. When an unbeliever died, whether in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, at the tribulation time, during the millennium, whatever era, all ages, all the unbelievers of all ages, when they die, they all go to that same place. So their place have not yet changed. Their place will change after the millennium when they are judged, and that is where they now be thrown into the lake of fire. So the place for the unbelievers of all ages since the world began is still hell. Remember that the other time we explained that hell is not the final destination for the wicked. Hell is just a holding place for them to be judged, and then they will now be thrown to their final destination. If you haven't listened to that tape, I think you can go and listen to it. Is hell the final destination for the unbelievers? Is hell the final place for the unbelievers? No. So as at now, they are being kept in hell. If you don't know Christ and you die now, you are going to hell. In the Old Testament, those who were not sacrificing to the God of Israel and died, they all went to hell, and they are still there. So they are at that same place, and they will continue to be there until the end of the age. Good. So what we're saying is that hell is a temporary holding place. The other time, I made us to understand that if somebody commit a crime, let's say the person steals, and you are arrested, what they have to do is that they don't just send you straight to prison. You have to be in what we call the romance, and then they will be investigating your case, taking you to court and all that. The day that they will now decide the punishment, the years that they will punish you, you will be in the prison. Then they will not take you from that place and send you to prison. So where they are now, the hell is just a temporary place. It's a temporary holding place. At the end of the age, they will be removed there, judged. When they are now judged, that is where they will now be thrown into the lake of fire. Okay, we are going to read this place, Revelation 20:13 to Revelation 20:13 to 15, or we can start from 11. Let's start from 11. Revelation 20, chapter 20, verses number 11, coming down to 15. I read. Then I saw a great white throne, and him who sitteth on it. The earth and the sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. A great white throne judgment. I believe we spoke about great white throne judgment. So if you haven't listened to it, then you can go and listen. Who are the people who will appear before the great white throne judgment, and what will be done there? What is the purpose of it? Good. So this one is going to take place after the millennium. And who are the people that are going to be judged? You see that there's a throne there, a throne that somebody is sitting. That is Jesus Christ. And what is he going to do? He's now going to judge the unbelievers. And at this point, where they are now kept, they are all kept in hell. So that is the end of unbelievers on earth. That is their ending. They will be taken out. So after this judgment, there won't be any unbeliever on earth again. All of them will be thrown into the lake of fire. And hell itself will also be thrown into the lake of fire. Good. So let us continue. Verse 12. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in them. The deaf, and then Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what he had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. If anyone's name was not found in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Good. So the lake of fire is their final destination. So what we are saying is that hell is still the place that when they die today, they still go. So their place have not yet changed. It's still the same place, hell. So when they still die now, they are going there. The time that they will not be there is when the millennium, when Christ return, the second coming, when Christ return, and then when Christ returned to the earth after the tribulation and set up the millennium. So after this millennium, that is where they will now be brought out and be judged. And the reason for them being judged after the millennium is that during the millennium there will still be unbelievers there. So some of them will be dying, and while they die, they go to the hell. While they die, they go to the hell. So after this judgment, that will bring about the end of unbelievers on this planet Earth. They will all be thrown into the lake of fire. Hell will go to the lake of fire. Death will go to the lake of fire, as you have seen Hades there. So the Hades there is the hell. So they all go there. So as at now, it is the Abraham bosom that is empty, because no believer is going there again. It has been empty. That place is empty. Nobody is there. But hell is still full of people, because since from the days of Adam till now, any unbeliever that dies goes there. So it is just a place to keep them for their final judgment. So unbelievers of all ages, when they die, they go to hell. And then it is their waiting place for judgment. So they'll go there and wait for their final judgment. Thank you.